Russia, shortly after the collapse of the Soviet Union. A World War II veteran, Ivan, after retiring, spends his time playing chess in the yard with his neighbors. His granddaughter Katya comes home from university. She is spotted by three guys, Igor, Vadim, and Boris, who have grown up with a silver spoon in their mouths. Boris offers to invite her to his place, implying an intimate relationship with her. Vadim points out that he went to the same class as her and knows that she isn't that kind of girl. Still, the guys lure the girl to their apartment under the pretext that Boris has a birthday and he has absolutely no one to celebrate it with. The guys offer her alcohol and try to flirt with her in every possible way. The girl becomes uncomfortable and tries to leave the apartment, claiming that her grandfather is waiting for her at home and he is worried. The guys stop her, then drag her into a room and rape her. After repeatedly raping her, they let her go and stuff money in her purse. Leaving the house, Katya throws the money away and the local alcoholic picks it up, but Igor comes down and takes it from him. Coming home, the girl starts crying at the door. Her grandfather runs up to her and starts to calm her down, but noticing the bruises and blood on her thighs, asks just one question. Who? Katya goes to the bathroom and begins to wash, worried about her granddaughter's psychological state. The grandfather forgives her not to do anything stupid, takes a meat tenderizer hammer and goes to the house across the street to his granddaughter's molesters. He is spotted by Alexei, the district policeman, and seeing his furious state, asks what happened. Ivan tells him what happened, and the policeman orders the pensioner to go home and drag his granddaughter out of the bathroom to don't let her wash away the evidence of the rapist's biological material. Alexei calls the police squad, and together they go to the guy's apartment. The captain takes off his uniform and pretends to be the upstairs neighbor ringing the doorbell and yelling that they are flooding his apartments. The captain breaks down the door and raids the apartment. After dragging the guys into different rooms, he starts interrogating them. Vadim says it was consensual, but all the evidence plays against them. Broken dishes, bloody bedspread, nail marks on the rapists' bodies. The captain plays bad cop and tries to blame each of the guys as the instigator, almost getting a clean confession. But a police colonel comes in, introduces himself, and it becomes clear that he is the father of one of the guys. The colonel asks to give them to him. The captain answers that if he gives the order he will do so, otherwise he will take them to the police station. A new circumstance comes out. Every Wednesday at these guys' place, they have a party and do something like this. They don't necessarily rape anyone, but women show up at their house with consistent regularity. The colonel asks the captain to take them to the main police station, but realizing that he will get them out of there in half an hour, the captain refuses and takes them to the local station. Meanwhile, Ivan suggests that his granddaughter see a doctor, but the granddaughter refuses, saying that she will have to tell everything. After much persuasion, the girl nevertheless agrees. The doctor arrives, reassures the grandfather, and says that all is not so bad and that the granddaughter is behaving quite decently, and suggests that Ivan cook her favorite dish. The next day, we learn that Katya's rapists have already been released. Sometime later, Ivan receives a call from his daughter, Katya's mother, promising to come soon after a business trip. The grandpa comes to his granddaughter and tells her the good news, after which he says it's time to go to the police to talk to the investigator. Upon arrival, the corrupt investigator begins a conversation with Katya. Realizing that Katya has washed away all the evidence and there is no 100% evidence of rape, he accuses Katya of making it all up and just wants to get money from the guys. The next day, walking to his house, the veteran notices his granddaughter's rapists and begins staring at them silently. To their question, "What are you looking at?" the grandfather replies that he remembers their faces. When the old man arrives at the prosecutor's office, he tries to get justice, but realizing that corrupt people also sit there, he calls the prosecutor an asshole, slams the door, and leaves. A pensioner goes to the bank to see his friend and tells him that he needs $5,000, offering his parents' house and the land on it in exchange. The banker says that it is too expensive, but Ivan has made inquiries beforehand and knows that an expressway will be built here in 6 months, and this area can be sold for 3 times the price. The banker agrees to his price. When Katya comes home, she tells her grandfather that a colonel came to visit her and brought her money. Ivan, furious, grabs the money, then goes to the colonel's apartment and throws it in his face. The next day, Katya tells Grandpa that his friend from the neighboring house came and left her keys with them. She goes to the countryside and asks them to feed the parrot and water the flowers. Upon entering his friend's apartment, Ivan notices that one window has a very good view of the balcony of his granddaughter's molesters. The next morning, the veteran takes his gardening tools with him and goes to the capital. Arriving at the local market, Ivan examines the local assortment of weapons but finds nothing but traumatic weapons. Deciding to take a little snack, one of the salesmen comes up to the veteran and asks if he was interested in the rifle. The man in military uniform inquires what exactly Grandpa wants. Ivan says that he needs a rifle with telescopic sight and 24 cartridges. The soldier, realizing he will be taking revenge on someone, says that the amount he is willing to pay for the rifle will buy anyone. The Ivan replies that they were all bought a long time ago. Once in the car, Ivan is blindfolded so that he will not remember the way to the place of their deal. Arriving at the military unit, the old man buys a sniper rifle with a silencer and a dozen regular and incendiary cartridges. After doing a little target practice, the military notes the old man's incredible skills. Back home, the Ivan quickly hides the rifle and notices that his daughter has arrived with yet another suitor, this time half her age. When she learns that Ivan has sold their house, she demands money from him, to which the old man says that he no longer has any. Then Katya's mother says she will go to the colonel and demand the money from him. The old man, furious, throws his daughter out of the house. Late at night, the old man secretly takes a rifle and takes it to his friend's apartment, to a previously prepared sniper position. The next Wednesday, Ivan goes out into the courtyard and watches a game of chess, trying to arrange an alibi for himself. After noticing the guys arrive, he heads to his position. The old man aims for the heart of one of the bastards, but is distracted by the doorbell. The letter carrier arrives and wants to give the letter to the owner of the apartment, but a neighbor tells him that the owner has left and asks him to give the letter to him to deliver. This time, Ivan aims his rifle scope at Igor's groin area and shoots him as he opens the champagne. Quickly concealing the weapon and picking up the shell casing, the old man R goes down to the courtyard and pretends that nothing happened. An ambulance arrives and one of the guys is taken to the hospital. When the granddaughter comes home, she asks what happened, but the grandfather says he doesn't know. A colonel arrives at the boys' apartment, asks about what happened, and informs them that their friend has become castrated. On leaving the apartment, he notices the prostitute who has arrived and tells her to come into the apartment. Local police officer Alexei talks to Ivan and offers to write a letter of complaint to the general prosecutor's office together. But the old man says that he will do it sometime later and go on his way. The colonel tells his son that the cause of what happened was not the explosion of a bottle of champagne, but a bullet, and tells his son that their trinity was hunted by someone. The next day, the precinct policeman begins to suspect something and realizes that the shot was fired from the neighboring building. The next Wednesday, Ivan notices the car of one of the rapists pulling up and goes to the sniper's position according to the old pattern. Waiting for him to get in the car, he fires an incendiary round into the car's gas tank. An explosion occurs, but Boris survives. Soon a fire truck arrives and puts out the fire. A colonel arrives at the scene of the explosion along with investigators and inspects the scene. The colonel informs his son that a bullet hole was found at the site of the gas tank and says that someone opened a hunt for them and left it for last. These words terrify Vadim, and you can see that the guy panics a lot and is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Police officer Alexei goes to Ivan's house and asks Katya to call her grandfather, but his granddaughter says that he is not home again. The policeman notices the keys hanging on the electric meter. He asks about them, and Katya answers that they are from her friend's apartment across the street. Alexei takes the keys and goes to the site of the alleged sniper position. Vadim, in a panic, loads the shotgun and waits for the villain to arrive. The colonel makes inquiries and learns that Ivan recently sold the house and understands that this old man is taking revenge for what his son and friends did to his granddaughter. The colonel, together with an investigator, goes to search Ivan's apartment. They find nothing and are about to leave, but then the doorbell rings. Ivan's friend who left him the keys arrives and asks for them back. The colonel takes the keys and they go to the apartment where the rifle is kept. The investigators conduct a search and open the closet where the rifle was kept, but find nothing there. The colonel approaches Ivan and says that he knows it was him, he just can't prove it. And he threatens, saying that if anything happens to his Vadim, he will arrange hell on earth for the old man. But Ivan says it's too late, and something has already happened. The colonel runs out of the apartment in a panic and runs to his son's apartment. After which Ivan adds that something happened to his son a long time ago if he became a rapist. The colonel runs to his son's apartment and starts banging on the door, demanding to open it. After that, a shot is fired through the door, and the colonel is wounded. The investigators take the shotgun away from the frightened boy and call an ambulance. Local policeman Alexei stops Ivan and asks him to come to his place. The old man notices his rifle next to Alexei. The policeman takes the weapon from the old man and sends him away. The movie ends with a scene where the Ivan comes home and listens to his granddaughter playing the guitar and singing a beautiful song.